Welcome back to the program. This is Hot News. My name is David OTOKUNOR, and we're live on Facebook at Pan-African Television. You can also join me on Facebook at ATTOH Watch with your comments and suggestions on the issues that we are about to discuss. We're also live across some 46 African countries by satellite and other digital platform. Tonight, my guest is the Member of Parliament for the Bia East Constituency, Honorable Richard Champon. He also doubles as the second Deputy Whip in Parliament. We're here to discuss what has been happening in Parliament. It's been a month since the John Dramani Mohammed's administration came into power. What has been happening? We've been watching on television, and I believe you also have been watching. You have your questions you want to ask. What is happening in Parliament? Why have they turned Parliament into a boxing arena? Why are honorable members, fighting every time? So he's here. He's a whip. We want to find out from him what is currently happening in Parliament. Good evening, Honorable.
Good evening, David. Thank you very much.
Maybe I have to go to Bia East and get one.
No, this is from the north.
Thank you so much for your time. First of all, let me find out from you. How is the constituency doing?
Oh, thank you very much for the opportunity. I think everybody is doing well. And I'm a first MP for the area since 2012. So as a pioneer MP, I think there's a goodwill. That's why the people here continue to vote for me, because we've done a lot of things for the people. We've been in opposition for 8 years. So they know that if they support me and vote for the NDC, a lot of things can be done for them. That's why they came together to renew my mandate for the 4th time. So we are hoping to do certain things good for them. A lot of things must be done in terms of road infrastructure, school buildings, debate grounds, market, improve water system. So these are some of the things we are going to put before the government, so that at least there will be some intervention to change the narratives and make sure they also live a very good life. Everybody is fine.
It's been 1 month. Are there any regrets in the constituency for voting for the NDC?
Not at all. Not at all. They are very happy that they voted for the NDC. Because if they look back from 2013 up to 2017, the kind of work we did at the constituency and the kind of rules project that we awarded on contracts, and this government came in and abandoned all those rules. So there wasn't any motivation to vote for the MPP. So the message was simple: let's go and bring NDC and Jomama so they will come and continue the road project for us. Let's vote for Jomama because we built one of the e-blocks at the district capital. Now they need a boarding facility. So if this government has come for the past 8 years and if there's nothing to be done in respect of this boarding facility, the government which built the e-block, let's go and bring that government to put in place this facility for us. So there's no regret at all. They're happy voting for Dramani Mama and the NDC and my good self.
Did you ever dream, that you will be where you are today in Parliament, the second deputy majority whip? Did it come to you as a surprise?
Actually, I'm not the type who go around lobbying for positions. What I do is I'm always ready to serve. So I remember when we were in government, people call me, "Ochari, bring your CV, come and lobby for post." I said, no. Let me learn the rudiment of Parliament. I'll be better off. And when we came to opposition, the same call came on me. I didn't mind. So even this, I did not go to any office to lobby for it. I was there, not in the news. Richard will go to the Ministry of Finance as a deputy minister because of my background. And I've served on the finance committee for the past 12 years. So they just called on me. We can't send all the good brains to the ministry. We need to leave some in Parliament. We'll bring our budget, we'll bring our agreement. So if you take everybody, all the fine brains to the ministry, who is going to work in Parliament? But the critical aspect is you bring your budget and people are not ready to debate the budget. You bring agreement, people don't understand even the type of agreement because there's no institutional memory. But we have been around for years. We understand the system, we know how we started the whole process. So working on those documents becomes easier than bringing a new set of people to deal with certain matters. As you know, Parliament is a university of itself. You can have all the degrees. When you come, you need to go through the process. So, like the majority leader, he has been in government for many years, about 4 or 5 ministries. Why is it that he did not go back to the ministry, but it's not the majority leader? The deputy leader has been a deputy finance minister before it. He has been a regional minister, but now he's the deputy leader. So it doesn't change anything. You need to get the good brains behind you so that they can also help, especially the new members, so they can also learn the job. You have more than 100, but 84 new members. Okay. So if you are not careful, you collapse the caucus. Right. That's why they put us there to also manage the caucus and make sure government business is conducted in a manner that we want it.
Somebody would describe, your entrance into leadership as baptism of fire. I'm saying this because of the recent happenings. How different is the 8th Parliament from the 9th Parliament? We know the 8th Parliament, the numbers weren't that strong. Okay, so now you are able to build consensus, you're able to do the majority decisions and all those things. But what is the striking difference between the 8th and the 9th Parliament?
The 8th...
But Ghanaians watch and it's like, what's happening to the House of Legislature?
The 8th Parliament was a very unique parliament in terms of numbers. And then it was unique also. That was the first time we got a different person from different political party to become the Speaker of the House. Ideally, that person should come from the government side. But because of the numbers and how we play our cards, we were able to get some votes from the other side. So the presiding officer doesn't belong to the government of the day. So it created a whole lot of issues for us. But by the way, they were able to say true. And these guys are drawing some kind of lessons from the 8th Parliament. Here we are in the 9th Parliament, 88 against 187. So according to them, if they wait for us to use our numbers, they can't do anything. Even if we divide our numbers into 2, we are still more than them. So the best thing they will do now is to use force. Because this is a debating chamber. But at the end of the day, it's about numbers. We'll put everything to vote. So if they allow you to get to that stage, you use your numbers to get things done. But what they did was unacceptable.
So it's a declared stance from the minority. That
behind the scenes,
they can't have their ways now. This is the strategy we'll use to have it.
Oh yeah, behind the scenes, you hear them say it. They said they'll make Parliament ungovernable. But we are not there yet because we have the numbers. But because of the nomination and the vetting and appointment of ministers, we wanted to form our government in good time. So we decided to at least look on, get our people vetted, approved, and what we call sworn in so they can take offices. After that, we hit the ground running because we need them to be part of the committees to vet the nominees. And even though also they did well, ideally you need to advertise it for 2 weeks before we can start the vetting. But because they wanted to cooperate, within a week, they allowed the whole process to continue. Even Mutaka, he was nominated, the next 2 days, he was vetted. That same day we approved him, and even that same day, it was just 1 hour late. If not, he would have been sworn in that same day. It has never happened in the history of this parliament. So that's why sometimes when they are doing certain things, we just look on, because they've also cooperated for us to get certain things done. Now the 13 nominees, because of all these things, they say we should do the 2 weeks adverts so that we receive memoranda from the public before they continue the vetting. I think it's 24th of this month. So next week, we'll do that vetting, we'll get them approved, and then we'll get them sworn in so that they can go and support their sector ministers. I know they will change because they can't continue like this. And we have advised them, it's not good for the optics. People are watching. And unlike those days that people were not interested in the happiness in Parliament, online, everybody is there watching you. So you've left your children home, you've come to Parliament, you call yourself an honorable member, and the little disagreement, you resort to physical attacks and the rest. It doesn't speak well of us. Look at those people who were involved in these acts. Many of them were former ministers of state, deputy ministers. You were managing agencies, managing big budgets. So look at the outcome. So I think we will draw lessons from all these things, especially when the committee is done with its work. They will present a report. So if your name is mentioned in the report indicating the kind of misconduct that took place, I don't think it is good for image. You go for the next elections and people will ask you questions. Let me give you a typical example. Katie Hammond, don't know why he lost his elections. Because nobody thought we are going to win that seat. But he started insulting the youth. If you remember, you have big hairs, your head like coconut, no brains, we will not leave Parliament for you, young guys, to run Parliament. Meanwhile, the chunk of your voters are youth. Okay, if you don't have brains, why do you expect us to vote for you? They will not vote for you. Okay. And he lost. Nobody thought NDC can take that seat back. So your actions and inactions will influence your survival in this house. So members must be careful, all of us. Well, sometimes you get to the extreme, but you need to hold your temper and make sure you'll be given a different role, a different description called honorable member. So your actions and actions should reflect that name put on you, because either you are here or outside Parliament, you will still be called honorable member. So you can't just come and misbehave because you don't have the numbers or because there are disagreement. We can just go back to concrete, consult each other, and get some fine modalities how to proceed. So you can't tell me you are tired for vetting and somebody saying I'm not tired because of that you are going to fight. No. In Parliament, nobody's under compulsion to attend meetings. Nobody. You can walk in and walk out any point in time. Like chamber is ongoing, but here I am having these discussions with you. So I don't see the point. And with your numbers, if you are there or you are not there, they will still pass them. So what was the point?
When you sit back as a leader, and you've made mention of that, when you look at the optics, a lot of people are now watching what is in Parliament, unlike the previous years. What does that tell you? Does it change, the narrative that, look, Ghanaians are now so much interested in governance? Do you get the views when you are in chamber? And what do you tell yourselves?
Yeah, they are getting involved. So we call it people's participation. If you don't take part in politics, or you don't take part in decision making, some, excuse my language, some foolish people will take that decision for you. It's like voting. If you refuse to vote, others will vote and elect leaders that you don't want for you. Let's take the past administration, for example. We put somebody that's a finance minister. His actions and inactions collapsed more than 46 banks, including some microfinance institutions. So from the word go, he has created more than 600 unemployment in the system. Look at his decision for the haircuts. The pensioners who suffered for it, including some of us, our investment, the repayment time has been postponed to another 3 or 5 years. Interest rate has been reduced. So he became a finance minister, used our money to do unnecessary things. Look at the criteria expenditure, $58 million. Look at the Kenny GVG contract, the SML, because the overhead expenditure alone consumed everything. So we had a president appointing 125 ministers. Look at the overhead expenditure. Last Parliament, one Land Cruiser cost more than $100,000. So you bought 125 Land Cruisers for the ministers, plus saloon vehicles. You gave them houses, you gave them cooks, you gave them security, free fuel, plus their salaries, put all together. So now that we are doing 60, less 60 from 125, look at the savings we are going to make. So decisions will affect you directly or indirectly. That's why we need to be careful. We need to get involved in politics, lest your voice be heard. That will shape the democracy that all of us are fighting for. Because we also listen to the feedback. People discuss the issue on radio and TV. This decision, this loan agreement, these people passed, these allowances they are giving to members of parliament or this institution, we disagree. And we have the conscience of the people. So we'll talk to each other, Charlie, this thing will not fly. Let's find a way of dealing with it. Let me give a typical example. Michael Quay time, they wanted to build the Parliament House. It was about $20 million or so. The public spoke against it. We stopped. So if they kept quiet, we would have built it. So participating in democracy is the best way to go.
Right. Now, so whatever happened in Parliament happened. Disagreements turn into a brawl. You guys turn the place into a boxing arena. From your standpoint, you are a whip, the second deputy majority whip. Yeah. Do you see what happened as a failure of leadership, not just from your side, but from both sides? People think you could have handled it, before you got to that point.
It's a failure on the part of the membership of the committee. I say so because we have different committees, and every committee has leadership. The person might be a first-timer, but if you put the person there as a chairperson or as a ranking member, he's playing the role as a leader. So me as a whip, I might find myself doing other things. So even I'm not aware that they are going to misbehave or they are going to fight. So before you say Jack, there's fire on the mountain. So it is a failure on our side. That's why all of us are saying never again should such a thing happen. We've talked to each other, we've talked to ourselves, even if there are disagreements, because we agree to disagree. So if there are disagreements, let's find a way of resolving them. There are a lot of issues that we disagree on, but we sit down, we judge. Sometimes we just adjourn the house to get enough time to have some conversation around it. So it was a failure on our part, and it's a corrective failure. That's why we've come together to resolve those issues and promise the good people of this country that never again. It's a debating chamber. People can flare up, but it doesn't mean there should be exchanges of blows, and no, it's not the best. It does happen in some parliaments, but it doesn't mean we should repeat negativities here. We need to learn good practices, not the excesses. So it was a failure. That's why we are working to improve it. Because normally the way that's your job. You need to coordinate your people, and we are the interface between the speaker and our members. So whatever concern they have, they channel those concerns through us, and we have a discussion with Mr. Speaker, the Parliamentary Service, and the clerk at table, so that we find solutions for them. Some are welfare matters, some are house matters, like the offices, air conditioners are not working, maybe even the floor, there are problems. We try to make the environment conducive for members so that when they come, they have a very good peace of mind so they can concentrate. Because when members are already angry, there's no way you can even talk to them or you can advise them. A simple disagreement will result to a whole lot of issues. And I think it's a new parliament. We have, like I told you, more than, if you put the two together, close to 100 new members. Even more than 100. So we are now trying to study their background, their behavior, and they're also trying to adapt to parliamentary culture. Even some still don't know how to even walk in parliament, especially when they get to the chamber. They may will be there, you see them crossing. You don't need to receive phone calls whilst at the chamber. People are still doing it. You don't need to read newspapers when you are in the chamber. People are still doing it. Even when you are debating, apart from the person reading the statement, you don't need to also read any scripts, but you can refer to your notes. But I see the new members.
But we've seen members in quotes misbehaving.
Yeah.
normally I'm told that your speakers, when one member is speaking, when another person puts it on, it interrupts.
Yes.
You know.
Yes.
And we've had occurrences. I've seen, videos on Facebook and stuff where other members tend to disrupt what is happening. That brings me to this question: that can one also fault the orientation process? Because what happened, the brawl and everything, we saw new members, level 100, members of parliament, so-called, that's how you call them, who were actively involved in the brawl. Did the orientation go well? Did they really understand why they were in that chamber? Actually,
the first orientation, in my view, wasn't a proper orientation. It was early days yet. They've just arrived. They had a lot of pressures on them. Some were staying in hotels. They don't have accommodation. Some don't even have a proper vehicle to come to work. They've just won elections. There are pressures from the constituency. The old people, those who campaign for them, are calling on them. So they weren't in a good state of mind.
So you go through all this. These are behind the scenes.
Oh yes, members go through a lot, I tell you.
The fresh ones.
Yes, even the continuing members, if we are to tell you the kind of challenges they are going through, you won't believe it. So they rushed them through the orientation. So when they came back, you still see that they didn't pick a lot of things. So if we are programming to have a full-blown orientation, all of us will be there. The first one was for only the first timers. We didn't participate in that. So we're going to do a full-blown orientation. All of us will be there. We'll share experiences with them. But by next week, we'll form the committees. So they will know the ethics of committee ways, how to deal with leaders. Parliament is by seniority. How to relate to other colleagues, even the opposing side. It doesn't matter they're in the minority, they are our friends. Some are our classmates, our family members. But when it comes to debate, it's about your party manifesto, your party program that you are trying to protect and defend. Beyond that, the friendship should be there. So if you have this in mind, it will be difficult to raise your hand on your opponent. So all these things they will go through, and the budget and the SONA presentation will also help them a lot, because we'll go for workshops, we'll eat together, we'll do everything together. So you see a bonding, you see a relationship being built. So for example, if finance committee is having a meeting, you have MPP, NDC, so they will start exchanging their telephone numbers. They start becoming friends. Right now, we want to travel on IMF program. You see the other side, actually, I'm going to buy my ticket. Can I buy a ticket for you? Which hotel are you going to sleep? We sleep the same hotel. So you see a relationship built. It will be difficult to fight that person. So they are new, they don't know anybody. So those things are bound to happen. But we need to correct it at the early stage so that it doesn't escalate to create unnecessary bad image for the house. So I think we'll cross that bridge.
Why is the formation of the committees, why is it taking so long? Especially the assurance committee.
Government assurance committee.
We could have handled, what happened so easily.
The fight.
Yes.
It's privileges committee.
The privileges committee.
It's about the nomination and appointment of the ministers. With committees, if you're a minister, you can be a chairperson or ranking member, or vice or deputy ranking. So from the word go, we don't know who will be a minister. So how do you put committees together? But the three committees which are very important for us is the appointment committee, business committee, and selection committee.
It has been formed.
So all the time, as soon as Parliament is inaugurated, the next day those committees are formed to deal with the appointment. We will know certainly people will be nominated so that we can vet them and do. And we need to get the business committee in place to program the activities of the House. Now that the names have come up, that's why we're able to form the committees. Even yesterday, we had a very serious meeting with Mr. Speaker from both sides. They brought their list, we have our list. But even with the 4 remaining deputy ministers, it's also creating another challenge for us. But if you put the person as a chairperson and you take the report on the floor, there's a resolution. So if you want to change that person from that, you have to go back to the floor, move a motion and amend it. But we want to gross over the 4, because only 4, so that by next week, latest by Wednesday, we'll present the reports, then we'll just announce it, and then the resolution is passed. Then the committees can start working. Go look at the statement they are reading. Some have been referred to some committees, but the committees are not there to take action. And other agencies also need the committees to do certain things for them. But who is the chairperson? We don't have them. So we can't call on any committee to do any other thing. So these are some of the things which is holding us back. But we're almost there. Next week, we'll put the committees in place. And the interest also. We put somebody here, I don't like this committee. This is my expertise. This is my background. So we need to consult widely. We need to listen to members, because we are forming the committees for them to be efficient and productive. So if their interest is not there, how do you expect them to also give out their best? Like you put non-lawyer on judicial committee. He will go there, but that person can never be efficient. Yeah, so we put all those things into proper perspective. I think now we are good to go.
How are you handling the minority, especially the leader, who seems to be, I see him to be in quotes a little bit trickish, and he's playing all manner of games to achieve whatever he wants. You've had change of leadership, that's the majority side, from KCL to Mahama, Yarika, and the rest. From your side, people think that your leadership is now tending to be more apologetic, trying to imbibe the pressure from the minority. How do you strike that?
Those who have followed parliamentary workings will understand what we are doing. We've done more than this when we were in opposition. Look at the standoff that even we had to close parliament. We have to go and sit at the majority side that some 4 MPs have vacated their seats and all that. This quorum thing they are raising, we've done it severally. They don't have anything to lose. We are in government. Do you understand? So we have a new position. We want our budget to be read. We want to create employment for our people. We want to implement our party manifesto. Do you expect us to engage in this kind of debate? How can we get the ministers approved? On record, right now, we've done almost 90-something% in terms of approval. So you allow them to talk, to make the noise, but at the end of the day, we'll have our way. That's why we say the minority will have their say, and the majority will have their way. What do we expect? To approve our ministers. Have we been able to approve them? Yes. So what again? And when you are a minority leader, you are better pleased. Always the speaker will give you the opportunity to speak. That's the only thing he has now. So we give that one to him. By the end of the day, you respond. If it's a question of voting, use your numbers to get it done. People want us to implement the 24-hour economy. They want us to recover all the loot in the system. They want us to make sure the lives are on. They want jobs. They want their road to be fixed. They want their water system to be improved. These are some of the demands on us. They look at all these things and voted for us and gave us these numbers. They got the sense that the hung parliament didn't help much. Let's give them a very serious spirit so that nobody, will go to court. Nobody will challenge their mandate. So they will get the full complement of members to implement their programs and policies. So by the end of the year, the question is, how many boreholes have we been able to provide for the people? How many schools have we been able to build for the people? Look at the school feeding thing now. I see pictures. The children are happy. They are eating very good kenke, sardines, and the rest. But people said, oh, when the NDC comes, they are going to cancel fuel stations. But we are improving it. This is why they voted for us. So they can make all the noise. Who will deliver? Because by the end of the day, when you mount the podium, you tell them, I've been able to do A, B, C, D. People stations. It's not like, I will do this, I will do this. We are in government. Tell us what you've done. So all these things, this is a debating chamber. People are here to talk. They are here to debate. They will bring unnecessary stuff for you to talk about. You look at ATTOH's case. Right. Yoko is an independent institution. We don't control a special prosecutor. So if somebody has been treated unfairly, you go to court. But they want to bring the matter to you so that the public will hear their voices. This is what they told me behind the scenes. I told them we will not take any decision on this matter. They say, yes, we want the public to hear us.
But on the same issue, are you not losing touch with the base? I'm talking about the NDC base. Because when this issue started, I've heard comments and commentary from your grassroots members who are not happy because they feel you guys in Parliament have mellowed down so much that they feel the minority is having their way, and they want you to up the game. You listen to Mahama, as I said, this issue about Keno Ferrata and the rest, being apologetic and the rest. Do you consider the base what people are saying and that people are not happy?
That of yesterday's statement, the feedback shows that the people are not happy for the leader to make that statement. A lot of calls, a lot of text messages that they are not happy. And as a human being, you can't get it all right. Sometimes you get it wrong. Sometimes you want to be so gentle, you want to carry everybody along. It will not sit well with your own base. I remember in the 8th Parliament, whenever there's a disagreement or when we were fighting to elect the speaker, people were happy. But the middle class were not happy that our members were seen through cameras fighting. So you see, you can't satisfy everybody. But your conscience should tell you that, is it right to do these things? Will this thing put food on the table? Will this thing reduce the tension in the system? Because we are in government. We can't be following everything. So we need to also explain to them that times have changed. We are not in opposition. We form government. We need to deliver on our mandate. But sometimes we need to be harsh on them. Even today, if you watch the response Ayaga was giving to Afenyo, you can see the kind of harshness in it. He's also picked the feedback from yesterday's statement. So it will influence your decisions. It will influence your action. So it's early days yet. We'll try to pull everybody along with us. We'll try to do what they want us to do. But it doesn't mean we will do everything they want us to do. We need to operate within the confines of the law. We have to make sure that we are providing good leadership, because we are setting precedents. So we ask ourselves, is it a good or bad precedent we are setting for other generations to follow? So during elections time, these issues will come up. How did you handle this situation? How did you manage this situation? So we need to balance it so that by the end of the day, the kind of leadership we are providing will stand the test of time, and people will get to know that, oh, this crop of leaders that we put in place, they are able, or they were able to provide this kind of leadership we wanted from them. That's the bottom line. So by all means, some actions will not sit well with your base, but we'll try to talk to them. We'll send them messages. Okay, next time we'll find a way of dealing with it. And sometimes we'll pick all these things from, especially those who are not aligned with your political ideology. But when it comes to voting, many people vote for you. It's not only your party people who vote for you. If you want the supporters alone of NDC or MPP to vote for their parties, no political party can win election. The middle class, many of them don't belong to a political party. They look at your party manifesto, your programs, and the system, and they get fed up with this administration, they'll come and vote for you. And when they are voting, they warn you, me, I'm not your party man. If you also go and mess up, we'll punish you.
would you support now there are calls, as you said, since yesterday, there are more clearer calls for change of leadership. People are not happy. They think that from the chairman of the vetting committee right down to the way your majority leader is going, they want a little bit of twist, somebody who can match up a little bit. Do you think that would be a right call?
I told you the transition, many people don't understand the transition. We are in government, so we can't be fighting, can't be hard. Diplomacy must work. Right. Do you understand? You bring a loan agreement. You need people to also contribute to it. You can't use your numbers alone to pass it. If you are not careful, a day may come, you look back, many of our members will not be there. Some will travel, some will be at the constituency, and these 88 people, they don't have any ministry to go. So they are constant. So you need to reach out to them. So you can't be using your numbers to bully them all the time. You need to be diplomatic with them, because you will need them one day. At the committee level, some have the background, some are experts. Do you understand? Like the former finance minister is coming to a committee. A guy from NIB, what do you call it? I think he was the CEO also. He's in Parliament. Eisenbank CEO is in Parliament. They have institutional memory, experience. So if they're on your committee, there are certain things that will help you to take it well. But if you ignore them, you go and crash. Because the agreement that we are signing, they've attended several meetings and workshops on it when they were in government. Some, they prepared the document and left power. So you need them to brief you. Even some documents, the way they prepare it, you don't need to even work with it at all. But if you're not careful, you keep quiet and allow it to crash, because they want you to lose so that they also win the next elections. So in politics, you need the opposition. You need them, but you can't say somebody is weak. The first deputy speaker, who is the chairperson for the appointment committee, is a new person as a speaker. Though we came to Parliament together, myself, the first deputy speaker, even the second one, Afenyo, another, all of us came together. But that position is a new position for him. So starting with this kind of members from the other side, it will take time for the chairman to adjust. Thankfully, we have just 17 members to vet. He's done with his work. So after this approval, unless maybe there's a reshuffle, so that committee becomes dormant. What again do you need from him? But now you can see he's improving whilst presiding. So by 6 months, I will see that he will find himself comfortable managing the house. But the difficulty we have is, when Mr. Speaker is presiding, the environment is quite different.
Yeah, I was coming to that.
But when any of the deputies is presiding, you see how members behave. Why? Because they are one of us. They are members of Parliament. So you look at him as a colleague. Like I told you, all of us, we came together. So what is the point? But Mr. Speaker is long-standing, his number of years, and he's not a member of Parliament, and his age. Dealing with him is quite different. And the house belongs to him. He's the presiding officer. He can just walk you out. And you don't want that kind of embarrassment. So even he said it last Tuesday when we were having the speaker's prayer breakfast. He doesn't understand what always happens at the chamber. Because when members go to his office, their demeanor, they can't respect the show to him. But as soon as they move to the chamber, the whole thing changes. So he said there's a split in the chamber, so they should come and exercise. That's
what can be done about that? Because it's everybody sees it. And you've mentioned that when it's there, everything seems to be on course. The moment it's not available. How do you cure that as a house?
So it boils down to the orientation, and we're also talking to ourselves. We are growing. So we reach out to them, Charlie, this thing is not nice. It's not good for the optics. It's not good for the camera. So some are trying to readjust. When we meet them with Charlie yesterday, I didn't get it right. I'm sorry. It will not happen again. So going forward, things will change. Because we've done several things before. You can stand up and do others, but now I can't do that. because we are whip, I've gone through the mill and all that. So gradually, people will get to understand it.
Before we go, your expectation, I know the Parliament is still young, some 1 month into the ninth Parliament. What do you expect to achieve by the close of this Parliament?
This Parliament is also going to be a productive one. That's how I see it. Productive in the sense that the government is committed to do things different. And luckily for him, he has the numbers to support that process. Assuming it is 137, 137, it will be difficult for the government to achieve whatever he wanted to do. But because of these numbers, if the programs and activities the president will present before this house, if you peruse it and we will think, one, it will serve the best interest of the good people of this country, we'll use the numbers to push it. And the benefit will be out there for everybody. So in terms of numbers, we don't have any challenge. So to help this kind of research that we're talking about get to its full implementation. If you don't have the numbers, you can have the fine brains. You bring it here, they'll shoot it down. Because they just lost power. They are angry with the system. They're in the state of denial. Yeah. So people don't agree that they've lost power. Yeah. That's why sometimes you see them behaving as if they are so in power. But after 6 months, they'll just understand themselves that actually we are in opposition. And there's nothing we can do, especially after SONA and the budget. They will feel the effect of the numbers. Anything you want to speak against, you speak against, but by the end of the day, we'll push it with the numbers. So you go home, you talk to yourself, it's a waste of time to go and debate for 30 minutes and nothing will come out of it. You just speak and people don't mind you. So we'll keep quiet for you to talk. By the end of the day, Mr. Speaker, put the question. And let's use the numbers to, because we don't have the time. The people out there want jobs. So we are proving this thing to create jobs, to give them good rules. And by the end of the day, if the people are satisfied, what is the gain? It's not about who fought. It's not about who insulted the most. It's about who got what. So if I see this Parliament to be very efficient, and Mr. Speaker too is bringing a lot of innovations, setting up different committees. Like now we are going to have a committee to also advise the Speaker. We are putting some old members on Parliamentary Service Board with their background. And this we decided to pick from NDC, MPP, so that we'll tap into their rich experiences and all that. So we want to carry everybody on board. Because if you look at the margin of vote John Mahama got, it tells you a story. Meaning the expectation is so high that we can't afford to fail the good people of this country. If we fail, that will be the end of all of us. Because we are part of the government. And when they mention your name is associated with your party and they fail with. And I don't want my name to be part. So I will do everything possible to make sure John Mahama and NDC succeed.
When are we seeing SONA and the budget?
The original date was 28th for SONA. But they are trying to push it, I think, a week further, the first week in March. So if it does happen in first week in March, meaning the budget will go second week in March. And that time, you might have cleared all the nominated ministers so that at least the president can also speak to those issues. So that Ghanaians will first accept that he promised 60, he has delivered 60.
Lastly, your constituents, Bia East, what will you tell them?
I'll continue to thank them for renewing my mandate. And then I promise them that all what I said during the campaign period, I'll make sure I walk the talk. Because they know what I've done for the good people, for the constituency. I have a lot of projects that have not been completed. We'll make sure we complete all those projects. And the new one promise, we'll make sure we deliver them. Though resources are not available, as we all know, there are liquidity challenge in the system. But we'll try to do our best so that we can meet them halfway. Getting to the second year, we'll try to at least get a lot of things done. The youths are looking for jobs. So will try to support the 24-hour economic program. That will give them a lot of opportunities. Jomama promised that even when it comes to security recruitment, it will be a regional arrangement. So you don't need to travel to Accra, sleep in a hotel, pay bribe to somebody, but they will not get a job. So if, let's say, an allocation is given to a region, 20,000, Western North, we have 9 constituencies. You share it for the 9 constituencies, for those who qualify, not for any other person. Those who qualified and interested and applied for the job. And we are not going to say it's for NDC people alone. No. All Ghanaians who qualify. Because in my case, many MP people voted for me. They'll come to your house, honorable, will vote for you. But if you check the numbers, you see a lot of skirt and blouse. Their candidates, let's say Baumia, will get 500 at the polling station. But the candidate, the PC, will get 400 or 300. It tells you there's a flip. So you can't say I'm giving the job to only NDC people. They will keep quiet. Next elections will come. You can't go to them for their vote. So we are developing a nation. We are not developing a political party. So they should rest assured that after the presentation of the budget and allocations are made, transferred to various MMDC DAs, we will try to do our best and get their share of the national cake, so that they also get a sense that they don't waste their vote. They voted for me, and these are the results. These are the benefits. So if let's say there are 30,000, we can't satisfy everybody. But there are people, you construct a road, they will use it. You provide potable water, they will drink it. You build school, their walls will go to the school. Market, they will go to the market. Whatever intervention you bring, they will benefit. And those who will get the direct job will also get it. But at the end of the day, they will sit back and say, Charlie, we did not waste our votes on Richard Achampon.
Thank you so much, Honorable.
You're welcome, my brother.
Been in discussion with the Member of Parliament for the Bia East constituency, Honorable Richard Achampon. I keep saying, I normally don't call MPs honorable, but there are a few ones that I'm beginning to have so much, regarding that respect to. Is one of them. So on tonight's show is honorable. My name is David OTOKUNOR. I want to say thank you for joining us. Don't forget, you can connect with me at ATTOH's Watch. Also, always go on our Facebook page, Pan-African Television, and let's know how you feel about our programming. We'll see you same time next week. Good evening.
Truly African.